On this edition of Fulton at Work, Fulton's top leaders pledge millions to address infrastructure needs at county facilities. We'll talk to the man in charge of fixing everything from the elevators to food service facilities. And the county joins the city in the campaign to rid wipes in the pipes, a problem that's wreaking havoc in residential sewer lines and wastewater facilities. I'm Darrell Carver. All this and more on Fulton at Work. Please stay with us. Welcome to the show. I'm Darrell Carver. As most property owners know, maintaining the infrastructure of your home or business takes a lot of time and a lot of money. Well, consider the fact that Fulton County government has over 270 facilities. You can imagine just how much money is needed to keep those facilities in good physical condition. In tough economic times, that can often be a huge challenge. However, Fulton County has laid out its plan to address the needs of its buildings. Those buildings are what employees and the public use every day. Now, Dennis King is overseeing the massive effort to address the county's infrastructure challenges. And Dennis, first of all, thank you for joining us here on the show.
Thank you for asking.
Well, recently, Fulton County's manager shared with a lot of reporters that he thought it would take $50 to $60 million to complete what his to-do list. That sounds like a lot of money, but when you consider all the work that's involved, is it something of a bargain? What are your priorities as well?
It's absolutely a bargain, and it's long overdue. There were several years where adequate maintenance and addressing certain issues were not done, and consequently, you pay for that. And we're finding now that it's necessary to spend a substantial amount of money to get the facilities in top-notch order. And that's what he brought me in to do.
Now, Government Center is the county headquarters. Is most of the work to be done here or at other facilities around the county?
No, it's to be done throughout the county. As a matter of fact, we have just put together a request for proposal. It's out on the street right now to do a thorough and extensive building assessment of 110 locations which comprise almost 4 million square feet of all types of departments and entities throughout the county.
It sounds like a massive undertaking because of the sheer number of facilities that you're looking at. What are some of the priorities to address in those facilities? I know there have been talk of work on elevators, some of which we've seen already, leaks, mold, issues like that. Tell me, what are the main priorities?
Well, that's the purpose of the assessment. The assessment is to do an extensive look at primarily mechanical systems, HVAC systems, elevators, plumbing, those things, fire and security, all of those things that frequently break or have problems. We want to know the remaining useful life of that equipment, and we want to identify if there's any very serious issues that need to be addressed now or issues that need to be addressed in the coming years. That's why we've requested a remaining useful life for all of that mechanical equipment.
Now, one of the first things a lot of people see when they come to Government Center is the water pond in the front of the building. I've read where the county is partnering with another entity to try to get that area fixed. If you can go into that, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, that's, I'm not an expert in the water fountain area, but Keep Atlanta Beautiful is partnering with the county, and they are working to restore that area to a new, beautiful complex in the front of the building. So they're primarily responsible for raising the funds and so forth, but we're working very closely with them on the construction progress and so forth.
And I know one of our busiest facilities is the county courthouse. What work do you anticipate needing to be done there?
Well, the one thing that's interesting is we divided the assessment into two phases. Phase one incorporated, as I stated before, about 2,400,000, I think, square feet roughly. And we wanted to get one of the big complexes that interfaced with the public in the first phase, and of course you've got the courts complex, which is about 1,000,002 square feet, and you've got the government complex, which is roughly 700,000 square feet. So we wanted to put the government complex, because of its public interface, more so than the government center, although we do interface with the public. We wanted to put it in phase one. And so all of the court buildings over across the street will indeed be analyzed, and we will get the assessments back and be able to take some action. Phase one is due back February the 26th, and phase two is due back by April 29th.
And I know as part of those phases, you're looking well beyond Pryor Street, other facilities such as the parks, libraries, senior centers. Give us an idea of some of what you're going to have to evaluate there as well.
Absolutely. Well, the first phase, as I mentioned, we are incorporating those things that are public interfacing. So for instance, the senior centers, and I'm off the top of my head, the libraries, other entities such as that will be in the first phase. Phase two will be anything that is not directly interfacing with the public, even though we did put the parks, because you have to split it somewhere, we did put the parks and so forth in the second phase. But the intent is to get all 110 locations and all roughly 4 million square feet assessed thoroughly by the end of April. And then we'll develop our action plans as to how we address them, because we've asked for rank ordering also, where they've done the assessment on a particular building and particular equipment. We want to know what needs to be replaced immediately and what can wait.
When you evaluate facilities, I know one of the things that the county's been looking at more and more is public-private partnerships in terms of getting a lot of this work done. Is that something that is being considered for a lot of these facilities, or will be considered?
Well, obviously we will consider anything that's advantageous to Fulton County and advantageous to the taxpayers. That's the bottom line. We have had some instances in the case of libraries, for instance, where we've had some down logs and things like that, and rather than wait until we can get the appropriate folks out there to take care of hauling it off. And some of the friends of the libraries, for instance, have assisted us a great deal in some of the areas. We still have to go through a process where we make sure that, that we don't put anyone at risk, hazardous risk, that type situation, and that we coordinate it. But there are possibilities. There's always possibilities. The thing is, we have to keep our options open on everything, I think.
I think one of the things that's interesting about dealing with an entity like the county is the variety of the facilities that you have to address needs in. Renovations to a park and rec facility are something completely different than a renovation to government center, for instance.
Absolutely.
If you can go into that, just having to take your crew and adjust to each of these various situations.
Well, to give you an example, the health and wellness folks, and I may have screwed up the name, I apologize for that, but anything like clinics, you have special circumstances. You have medications there, you have refrigeration there, you have all types of things that you have to consider, especially that HVAC type situation is more critical in that kind of facility than it may be in another type of facility. So those kinds of things, we have to address. Senior centers, obviously you have to be very careful what you use in a senior center because of the condition, in some cases, of the public that's coming in. You have to make sure there's plenty of ADA accessibility and that it's easy for folks to use the services that are provided.
Dennis, I want you to stay there with us. When we come back, we'll talk more to you about the new cafe that just opened here at Government Center and why it was so desperately needed.
Sure.
You stay with us as well. We've been talking about the millions of dollars worth of fixes and upgrades that Fulton County has pledged to make as a result of many of its aging facilities. Now, Dennis King is with the county's General Services operation. Again, thank you for being here. During the last break, we were talking about the Fulton County government's efforts to spruce up things around Government Center. And one of those areas that was so desperately needed was a cafeteria. The health department closed it some time back after health code violations, but you've since reopened a new cafe in the building, but in a different location. If you can talk a little bit more about that.
Sure, be glad to. The cafeteria was closed, if I remember correctly, in 2012. So consequently, for the last 3 years, the employees and the public who utilize the Government Center have had to find places around the Government Center and the courts to eat. And consequently, there is a cafeteria in the courts, but there is nothing over here. So consequently, we looked at what could we do, not having to open up the entire cafeteria because it's still undergoing extensive water treatment and so forth. We had a water problem there. And we were approached various different entities to see what was available and what would be the best overall plan for us. And we met with a company called Vendedge, which is associated with Coca-Cola. And there is something called, and I hate this term, but it's called a micro market. A micro market, because the word micro market translates into a thought of a mini place, and that's not the case in this case. Our cafe is called Freshmints at Fulton, and it has a full service line of salads, gourmet sandwiches, 4 types of coffee, including gourmet coffees, teas, various types of drinks, just an unbelievable selection, fresh fruits, healthy snacks. It has everything that you could think of. They even have a couple of hot containers that have chili and turkey soup and all kinds of things of this nature. They also have guest outside restaurants like Chick-fil-A come in periodically, and their wares are available there too. It has an interesting thing, and that is a pay card whereby you put money on the card, or you can pay with a debit card or a credit card. And so it makes it, you can load money on a card, and then when you come in and you select your items, you just flash it in front of a scanner, it deducts it from the card, and you're free to go. We have had unbelievably resounding compliments from both the employees, and we've even had folks come from the businesses around here and have commented on what an exceptional way to access fresh foods, wholesome foods. It's got all kinds of things, healthy foods, and we're just very pleased with the results.
Well, I noticed one thing that we saw when it first opened was not just folks who work here in Government Center, but jurors from across the street.
Yes.
A lot of people really coming here, taking advantage of this option. We want to hear a little bit more of what some of those folks, especially our employees, had to say. Listen up.
I think it's a great idea. We've needed one ever since the other thing closed, for that matter. And it seems like it's very practical.
Oh, I love it. I think it's an awesome idea. For the simple fact that the county manager heard the cries of the employees, and he answered, and he had answered quickly, promptly, by creating this new eating environment that has a fresh, modernized look. The food selection is great. I think it's an awesome thing. I'm very happy.
It's kind of interesting because this used to be our office. Now it's it come along pretty good. It's looking good.
There can be 300 to 400 items in a market, as opposed to vending, which you might have 80 items in a vending bank. So it's just a new, exciting concept to our industry, but it just allows employees to have so much better options, so much fresher food.
Now, congratulations on that endeavor, but one of the things I wanted to find out from you as part of our final thoughts was, what do you think when you hear those rave reviews about the fact that people are so happy to see this here?
Well, obviously, I'm very happy because that is what we wanted to hear, but it also gives you a sense of how we can continue to improve, expand the selection, do things to make it more comfortable for our employees and the public to be able to use the facility that we have here. We're just tickled to death with the results of the refreshments at Fulton.
Well, Dennis, thank you for joining us, and thank you for stopping by. We definitely appreciate your time, and keep us posted on the progress of things going on down here.
Thank you for having me here, and I'll be more than happy to come back in the future and update you.
Thank you. Up next, a plea from the City of Atlanta to help protect our sewer system. Stay with us. A problem plaguing sewer systems all over the country is also creating problems right here at home. We're talking about the damage that baby wipes or hand wipes are causing to residential sewer systems and wastewater systems. Fulton County is joining the No Wipes in the Pipes campaign with the City of Atlanta. This is the public service announcement associated with that effort.
Son, I don't know what your mom's been feeding you, but we're all done now. Hey, watch your old man shoot these wipes down the toilet. 3, 2, 1.
Rejected! That's not funny.
No, it's not funny.
What, I can't flush the wipes? It says flushable on the box.
Disposable wipes do not always mean flushable. Baby, cleaning, personal hygiene, and makeup wipes, along with paper towels, do not dissolve when flushed and can damage sewer pipes and equipment at sewer treatment facilities. This can lead to millions of your dollars in infrastructure repairs. Wipes should always be placed in the trash for proper disposal.
It's good!
For more tips on how to properly dispose of wipes, connect with us on Facebook and Twitter at ATL Watershed and follow our hashtag, #NoWipesInPipes. You can also visit our website at atlantawatershed.org.
Now, Cameo Garrett is associated with the City of Atlanta's Watershed Department. Thank you for joining us here today, Ms. Garrett.
Thank you.
And why did Watershed Management see the need to create awareness around the issue of wipes?
Well, this problem is not unique to Atlanta. Other cities face this problem as well. We're asking people, instead of flushing wipes down the toilet, for them to put them in the trash as well. As I stated before, wipes will clog our sewer system, our pipes. They also attach to the equipment in the wastewater treatment plant. Last year alone, we spent $4 million to replace equipment at RM Clayton Water Treatment Plant, which is our largest water treatment plant in the city of Atlanta. And we're looking now to ultimately invest more dollars, $50 million, to replace equipment at our water treatment plant in the future, to replace equipment at our Headworks facility. So this is a cost that we don't want to pass on to our ratepayers. So that's why we thought this was very important to spearhead this campaign.
And what are some of the components of that campaign?
We are extremely excited about our No Wipes in the Pipes campaign. We have partnered with Sheltering Arms Daycare Centers. As a daycare center, obviously they use a lot of wipes, so they are helping to spread the message to their families. We have produced public service announcements around this campaign. We have also partnered with school groups. We're working with APS to provide education. We were also at the Falcons tailgate signing up Falcons and Eagles fans to have them take the No Wipes in the Pipes campaign pledge.
And where can people go if they want more information on No Wipes in the Pipes?
For more information, everyone can go to our website, www.atlantawatershed.org, or follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages at ATL Watershed, #NoWipesInPipes.
Cameo Garrett, thank you for joining us from the City of Atlanta Watershed Management Department, and we appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us as well. We'll be right back.